Today, I'm still talking about the same theme. It's about when healing slowly turns into emotional suppression. Sometimes people begin a healing journey because they genuinely want peace, growth, clarity, or emotional freedom. And healing can be beautiful. It can help people become more aware, more compassionate, more conscious, and more connected to themselves. But sometimes, without realizing it, healing can slowly become another form of self-suppression, especially when people start believing they must always appear calm, positive, healed, spiritual, or emotionally high vibration. And over time, some people stop allowing themselves to fully feel natural human emotions. Sadness becomes negative. Anger becomes low vibration. Grief becomes something to rush through quickly. Emotional exhaustion becomes something to hide. So instead of honestly processing emotions, people begin suppressing them in the name of healing. They smile while overwhelmed. They force peace while internally anxious. They pretend to be okay because they think healing means never struggling anymore. But emotions that are constantly suppressed do not always disappear. Sometimes they stay quietly inside the nervous system, body, mind, and subconscious, slowly becoming emotional heaviness over time. And this can become confusing for many people because outwardly they may look spiritually aware or emotionally controlled, while internally feeling disconnected, exhausted, numb, anxious, or lost. And sometimes even rest does not fully remove the exhaustion. Because the tiredness is not only physical, sometimes it comes from the constant pressure of suppressing emotions in order to maintain an image of being okay. And I think many people become afraid of emotional honesty because they worry that acknowledging pain means failure. Failure in healing, failure in spirituality, failure in growth. But maybe emotional honesty is not failure, maybe it is courage. But maybe emotional honesty is not failure, maybe it is courage. Because sometimes during healing, old wounds and difficult emotions do not disappear immediately. Sometimes the deeper healing process actually brings old pain to the surface. Old grief, old fears, old disappointments, old trauma that may have been buried, avoided, minimized, or emotionally suppressed for a very long time. And I think many people become frightened when this happens because they assume, if I am healing, why do I suddenly feel worse? But sometimes healing is not the absence of pain at first. Sometimes healing begins when the pain that was hidden finally becomes visible enough to be acknowledged, understood, and processed safely. Sometimes healing begins when the pain that was hidden finally becomes visible enough to be acknowledged, understood, and processed safely. And maybe that does not mean you are failing. Maybe it means certain parts of yourself are finally asking to be seen with honesty, compassion, and care. Because healing is not about becoming emotionally perfect. It is not about never struggling again. And it is not about abandoning your humanity in order to appear spiritually evolved. Maybe real healing is learning how to stay present with yourself compassionately, even during uncomfortable emotions, to acknowledge sadness without shame, to allow grief without self-judgment, to admit exhaustion, honestly. To stop treating emotions like enemies that must always be hidden or controlled. Because emotions are not always problems to eliminate immediately. Sometimes they are signals. Signals that something inside you needs care, truth, boundaries, rest, or attention. And maybe one of the most healing things you can do for yourself is allowing yourself to be fully human while still growing spiritually and emotionally. You can seek peace and still have difficult emotions. You can be grateful and still feel overwhelmed sometimes. You can be healing and still admit that certain experiences hurt you deeply. These things can exist together. And maybe true healing does not disconnect you from your humanity. Maybe it helps you hold your humanity more gently, honestly, and compassionately. If this message resonates with you, you may consider giving this channel a like or subscribe. And if you know someone who may need these words right now, please share this video with them. I truly appreciate those of you who choose to spend your time here and who have already subscribed and continue supporting this space. I hope this channel can continue becoming a gentle and safe place for people who are trying to heal, reflect, reconnect with themselves, and feel a little less alone in their journey. I intend for this content to be found by people who may truly need these words at this moment in their life. Because I remember there was also a time when I deeply needed to hear these words too. Sometimes a simple reminder can help someone feel a little less alone, a little less ashamed of their emotions, and a little more connected to themselves again. And wherever you are in your journey right now, may the true source of unconditional love and light gently guide you toward honesty, grounded healing, emotional freedom, compassion, and peace.